Lotus in Hand is known for making some of the most sought after cardistry decks ever, and once they sell out, they're almost impossible to get without having to pay a higher resale price. But this time, they did something completely different. This is the Arctic Lotus deck, the first deck from Lotus in Hand that isn't limited. Instead of a fixed print run, it is an edition of infinity, meaning anyone can get their hands on it. Printed in Taiwan by Deck's Playing Card Company and designed specifically for cardistry, this deck takes a clean, minimal design that Lotus in Hand is known for and brings it into a new, icy aesthetic. So the big question is, does an unlimited Lotus in Hand deck still feel special? Let's take a closer look at the Arctic Lotus. Starting off with the Tug Box, it is going to have this nice matted like icy blue all over the Tug Box, and in the front it is going to feature the Lotus in Hand symbols on the top and the bottom part of the middle of the Tug Box. On both sides of the Tug Box it is going to be blank, and in the back is going to be similar to the front, but instead of the silver like foil on it, it is going to be just like regular embossed. On the top of the Tug Box it says think outside the box, and on the bottom it just says some ad placement and features some information of the printer. When you open it, the flap does come with some words that says with what's inside the box. Inside the Tug Box it is going to be white, so there's nothing inside there. Overall, Lotus in Hand did nail the Tug Box. It is simple, like minimalistic, and the Tug Box does feel durable, that I'm not afraid that it's going to be wearing down as faster than other Tug Boxes. And the matte color looks really nice. I'm gonna be giving the Tug Box a 9 out of 10. Now let's move on to the jokers. So this deck is only gonna have 2 jokers. It doesn't have any ad cards, so I know that's a bummer for you magicians and everyone else that likes using the ad cards. Both of the jokers are identical besides the text on the bottom. On one of them it says where warmth forgets to reach, and the other, it says in permafrost, even time stands still to watch. There's not really much to say about the jokers just because they're so simple, but I do like the wording, and I do like that they kept it identical but kept a little small twist. I'll be giving the jokers an 8.5 out of 10. Now let's move on to the core cards. So for the core cards, Lotus in Hand did keep that simplistic and minimal design going to the core cards. Instead of the usual border that goes around the cords, it is like an empty space to kind of keep things simple and minimalistic. So for the spades and clubs, instead of the usual black, they use this nice light gray color, and in this style I kind of prefer the gray color. I think it's a nice alternate color towards like the black, and it really matches the blue well in this theme. For the diamonds and hearts, it uses this nice like icy blue. It's not like a metallic color, but the ink that they chose to use for the core cards does give it like a metallic look, and it just shines more than the regular core cards. Overall, they did keep the classic core card style in the deck, and I do like how they managed to give it a little twist that corresponds with their style. These core cards look really nice, and I'm gonna give them a 9 out of 10. Now let's move on to the number cards. So moving on to the number cards, there's not really much to talk about the number cards besides the coloring differences, and that's just how they went throughout the whole theme of the deck. How like in the courts, the spades and clubs are going to be using this nice gray, and the diamonds and hearts are using this nice like icy blue. I'm really liking the color choices that they chose for this deck compared to the red and black in the standard decks, and it doesn't help that my favorite color is blue, and honestly I think I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. Now let's move on to the aces. Unfortunately for the aces, they didn't do the ace of spade any justice. They just kept it a simple ace of spades, and the other ones are their standard aces as well, so there's not going to be any customization besides the coloring. I don't know how I feel about this because I know they're going for that simple minimal look, but it is kind of like a sin if they don't do anything with the ace of spades in my opinion, so that's going to knock it off some points. And for this section of the ace of spades and the other aces, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. And now let's move on to the back design. So for the back design, I know a lot of decks are either make or break just from the back design alone, and this is no exception. This back design is super nice. I love this back design. I love the color blue that they use. This is honestly probably my top 3, if not number 1 decks of 2026 right now. I think it is like either top 3. I'm gonna say top 3 because I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look at other decks that got released this year so far, but it's for sure one of the top candidates for number 1. I really love a nice simple deck, and if it's done right with the colors and the logo and everything like that, I just think it's like a chef's kiss. It doesn't help that this deck feels really nice too. This is really biased and everything like that just because of the color alone, and everyone has their own colors that they prefer over other ones, but I'm gonna give the back design a 10 out of 10. Now let's move on to the finish and handling. So for Lotus in Hand decks, I've never really like handled other decks besides like the Ventus, and they feel similar. I'm pretty sure they use Deck's playing cards, but this playing card kind of feels thick, but it's soft. Like, it's so weird because I really like how this feels. The sides, even like here, the sides of the deck are super soft. These feel super nice. And now I understand why every cardist always wants a Lotus in hand deck, because they just feel so nice and are super durable. And if I can do more moves to give it justice, I would, but I'm not the best cardist in the world, but I will learn. The finish also gives it kind of like a laminated feel, and it's not in a bad way. It just makes the deck feel thicker than it is, and it's super like smooth and like glossy. This is a must buy in my opinion. I would suggest anyone who wants this deck to go get it, because this deck is that nice. And this being an unlimited release, this is the perfect way to see and feel for yourself how Lotus in hand decks feel. Even though it did cost $10 extra for shipping, it's crazy to me how much decks cost nowadays for the shipping. Like you'll buy one deck, it's like $18, but with taxes and shipping, it's like a 30+ deck. Like $30 a deck. 30 bucks for a deck of cards is a lot of money, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this is worth every dollar. So go get some. I'll leave a link in the description down below on where you can get these. These are on X-Decks. If you want to use my code IvanRome5, you will get a discount. But if I'm being honest with you guys, if you're buying one, it's gonna be cheaper on X-Decks. If you're buying two, it might cost like $1 or $2 more. But if you're buying more than two, I suggest just buying it straight from Lotus in hand. I will have their link in the description as well too. So if you're gonna be buying more than two, use the Lotus in hand link. And if you want to buy one or two, you can use the X-Decks link and use my code IvanRome5 for 5% off. And if you do, thank you in advance for supporting the channel. And for the stock and handling, I am gonna give this another 10 out of 10. With just look how that fans. Like, it's just amazing. Like, this deck is super nice, guys. It's a 10 out of 10. Let's move on to the overall score. So how well did this deck do? And does it still feel special if it's not limited? This deck did score a 9.35 out of 10. Honestly, this is one of those must-buy decks of 2026. It does feel super special, and it's honestly a great way to experience the Lotus in hand feel and vibes of everything of the deck without having to pay that huge resale prices that other Lotus in hand decks are known to get up towards. If you guys buy it, you guys won't be disappointed. And if you guys are disappointed, let me know in the comments below why. So that's pretty much it for the end of the video. Like the video if you liked the video. Comment down below what you thought of the Arctic Lotus, and subscribe to my channel. My name is Ivan Rome, and thank you for watching my video. Peace out.